Hi there, today I'm going to explain a horror and mystery film, Child's Play. Released in the year 1988. Let's get started. Charles Lee Ray, a well-known serial killer and wanted fugitive, is being pursued through the streets of Chicago by Chicago homicide investigator Mike Norris. Charles's accomplice, Eddie Caputo, is waiting for him in the getaway vehicle. Charles is shot in the back by Detective Mike. Eddie is then startled by an oncoming police car and he drives away, leaving Charles behind. Charles shoots the lock and walks into a toy store. Detective Mike fires another round at Charles. Charles then understands he is about to die. But before he dies, he promises Detective Mike that he will finish him and his accomplice Eddie, who ran away leaving him alone. Then in a panic, he stumbles on a pile of boxes of dolls and they fall on him. When he sees one of the dolls, he gets an idea and starts to laugh. Then Charles begins a kind of invocation in another language. With his hands, he picks up a good guy doll and performs an odd incantation. Dark clouds form, lightning strikes, and the toy store explodes. The only thing left for investigator Mike to discover is Charles's dead body, which is resting next to a good guy doll. Now we meet our protagonist, a 6-year-old birthday boy named Andy who makes breakfast for his mother. Apparently, Andy has no feeling in his hands and spends his time watching ads of a doll named Good Guy, which is the new toy. He expects to receive the doll in one of the unopened presents in the living room. However, he later finds out that there is no Good Guy doll inside the large present, just a bunch of clothes. Andy's mother Karen didn't know about the doll in time, so she didn't save up for it. She apologizes for not being able to buy it. Later at Karen's workplace, one of her co-workers and friend, Maggie, comes running with the news that in the alley behind the store there's a peddler who sells the doll and convinces her to go buy it for her son. At her workplace, Karen's boss tells her that Mrs. Howe has been taken sick. Karen has to work overtime to fill her place. Maggie then tells Kaylin that she will babysit Andy while she works. Later, after picking up Andy from school, Karen gives him the gift and he's thrilled to see that it's the doll he wanted. He shows his mom how it works by asking his name. "Hi, I'm Chucky and I'm your friend till the end." Heidi, ha ha ha. Andy then expresses gratitude to his mother, and Karen bids him a happy birthday. Later, Karen's friend Maggie is at the house taking care of Andy. Maggie tells Andy that it's time for bed. But Andy tells Maggie that Chucky wants to watch the 9 o'clock news. Maggie still insists that it's time for bed. She later hears the TV turning on while she's in the kitchen. When she goes to check it out, she sees Chucky sitting on the couch watching the news. However, Maggie doesn't believe Andy when he tells her that it's Chucky who turned on the TV. She accuses the boy of telling lies and she lays him down on the bed next to the doll. Moments later, Chucky slowly approaches where Maggie is and runs into the kitchen to grab a chair and hides. Maggie is shocked when she feels someone running. She decides to investigate. Meanwhile, Chucky takes a hammer and hides. Maggie is frightened to find the door open, but when she checks and finds nothing, she turns around. She is hit with a hammer on the forehead. She stumbles backwards, crashes through the window and falls to her death. Later on, Karen arrives at her apartment to find the news that her friend died after falling from the kitchen window. Detective tries to find out if the footprints found at the scene are from Andy's shoes because they are small but they do not match. Detective Mike Norris still thinks that Andy did it. And back at the apartment, Karen is now wanting Chucky to say something. She picks up the box. Then the batteries fall out. The toy's batteries were still in the box. She opens the doll's battery compartment and finds out that it's empty. The head suddenly spins around and says, "Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?" She drops the doll in fright. Now convinced that Andy is telling the truth, frightened, Karen lights her fireplace and threatens to throw the doll in the fire if it does not talk. And it does talk. "You stupid bitch. You filthy slut. I'll teach you to fuck with me." Chucky bites her arm. She throws him off. Chucky then runs off. Chucky jumps on an elevator that is going down. When Karen sees the elevator going down, she takes the stairs. But by the time she gets to the ground floor and out the front door, Chucky is nowhere to be seen. Karen runs to Detective Mike Norris to explain what happened, but even the bite mark on her arm doesn't convince him that Andy was telling the truth. Karen tells Detective Mike Norris that she is going to find the peddler who sold her the doll. Detective Mike then says, "That isn't a good part of town to be in at this time of night." Karen finds the peddler and asks where he got the doll from. The peddler asks, "What will you give me if I tell you?" Karen then hands over her money. The peddler says, "It's not enough." Karen says it's all she has. The peddler says, "You got a lot." He gets ready to get dirty with Karen. Detective Mike Norris arrives. He waves his gun around to scare away the other people. Some rough handling gets the peddler to talk. The peddler tells the detective that he found the doll at a burned-down toy store at Wabash. Detective Mike then says, Charles Lee Ray died there. When Detective Mike gets back to his car, Chucky strangles Detective Mike with a cord inside the car. Detective Mike loses control of the car. He grabs the car's cigarette lighter and burns Chucky in the face with it. The car flips upside down. Chucky tells Detective Mike that he can't hurt him. When Detective Mike shoots and lands a shot on Chucky, Chucky actually does get hurt by him. The bullet wound bleeds too. Chucky visits John Bishop to find out what is going on with him being hurt and bleeding. John explains that Chucky is turning human. The more time he spends inside this doll, the more human he becomes. Chucky asks for a way out of this. At first, John refuses and tells Chucky that, "You're an abomination. An outrage against nature. You perverted everything I've taught you and use it for evil. And you have to be stopped." Chucky thought something like this might happen. He then plays with a voodoo doll of John. He breaks his arm and his leg. John then tells Chucky that he needs to transfer his soul to the first person whom he told he was alive, which happens to be Andy. Chucky thanks John and stabs the voodoo doll in the heart, mortally wounding John. Chucky escapes. Detective Mike and Karen arrive shortly after. They find John, who stays alive long enough to tell them about Chucky's plan to transfer his soul to Andy. He says Chucky's heart is almost human. The only way to kill Chucky is through the heart. After saying that, John dies. Chucky arrives at the psychiatric facility. He locates the keys and opens the door. He removes the bed sheets to reveal a pillow underneath. Andy bolts from the room. Dr. Ardmore takes Andy and attempts to subdue him by injecting him with something. Chucky stabs the doctor in the back of the leg with a scalpel. The doctor collapses on the ground. Chucky places an electric band on the doctor's head and increases the voltage. The doctor's face turns dark, and blood pours from his mouth. The doctor then passes away. Andy is frightened. He returns home and barricades the door. He finds a baseball bat in the closet. Chucky descends the chimney and kicks the fire guard. Chucky knocks Andy out with the baseball bat. And Chucky prepares to possess Andy with the voodoo chant. Detective Mike and Karen break through Andy's barrier. Karen then grabs Chucky. Detective Mike throws Chucky off Karen. Chucky then slices Detective Mike in the back of the leg. He stabs Detective Mike in the crotch with the baseball bat and hits him on the head with it. Karen shoots Chucky in the leg. Chucky starts to fight with Karen. Karen manages to cage Chucky in the fireplace. Andy lights Chucky on fire. Chucky, while he is on fire, he tries to climb over the sofa as he is burning. Thinking Chucky is dead, Karen and Andy leave the room, and Andy gets the first aid kit for Detective Mike and Chucky disappears. A small foot trips Andy. As Andy is falling, a black burnt Chucky follows Andy with a knife. Karen shoots at Chucky. The doll's head, the right arm, and the left leg come off. Karen still shoots the body twice. Detective Mike's partner, Detective Jack Santos, appears. Detective Mike tells Detective Jack that the doll is alive. Detective Jack does not believe them. The doll's body pops out of the air vent and starts strangling Detective Jack. Detective Mike then shoots the body in the heart. Blood splatters and Chucky is finally dead. The head finishes off with the last quote, "Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?" The film ends with a freeze frame of Andy's forlorn look as he walks out the door. The end. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new movie recaps.